Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Jason Howell on the line, and he's founder, president, and family wealth advisor over at Jason Howell Company. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Adam.
So excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to get into family governance and really what families should be thinking about out there when it comes to their money and management. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into what you're doing over at Jason Howell Company. Tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
Oh, thanks, Adam. We're a family wealth management firm. We are creating the new patriarchs and matriarchs out of millennials and Gen Xers.
Man, I love that. And the thing about the thing that's unique about this, and when we were kind of warming up in the pre-show, is I said, I interview a lot of finance people, but a lot of people are not really coming at it from that angle of the matriarch, the patriarch, or family governance in general. Which I mean, it's obviously as we all age and we move further along. At one point, I always tell people this. At one point, we always thought like, oh, the baby boomers, we talked about that, or the greatest generation. Now it's like, no, the millennials are having kids and they're getting older and everybody's getting older, so it's time for them to start shifting and start thinking about like their next steps as heads of households. So where do you want to start this topic? It's a big topic.
Well, it is a big topic. I mean, it's just, we can be very present about this topic. We're facing so much challenge in the COVID months and maybe year or two of the pandemic. And I just think, and I've thought this for a long time, that our generation of adults are facing incredibly unique challenges, and we have to do things a little differently than our parents and grandparents did to actually make and affect change. That's what I built my business around. It's what I wrote my book around, and what I'm continuing to sort of promote as I get out there.
So what are some things, a lot of people listening right now, what are some things that these heads of households should be, or these parental units should be thinking about and when it comes to family governance? I mean, give us some tips, some things that they should be thinking.
Yeah, I'll make it easy. One of the things that I'm proud that we do at Jason Howell Company is we equip the families with 3 specific tools as we go through what is a traditional financial planning process. We call it a family governance process. So the very first step of that is actually creating a financial roadmap, which may feel more traditional as far as financial plans go. But we put in that and come out of that with 40 to 60 recommendations for essentially managing financial life. That's the what of what you need to do. And that, again, that might be more standard, but we try to make it pretty clear. We do bullet points. We make it pretty accessible. The piece that we do, though, is what we call the implementation guide. So this prioritizes the when, when they need to implement all those recommendations that we put down, because that's a lot of recommendations. How do you know when to do that? We make that a part of the process as well. But the final piece that truly makes us unique is this family constitution that we build by the end of the rainbow of our process. And all that is really the how and the why that you implement those recommendations. It's all part of that process we call family governance. It's very much about creating multi-generational wealth, even for people that are not ultra-high net worth. We're bringing that down to the regular net worth people that are ambitious, as many people in our generation are, that are seeing a lot of challenges in our country, in our world, and want to affect change. But it's just not about working hard and making things happen. It's just not the world we live in. Finances are so complex that you have to be very intentional. And I focus on that and give them the tools that the ultra-high net worth have been using for a long, long time, break it down, and give them an opportunity to go after what they like.
Where do you find, and I know this is going to change from person to person, family to family, like I get it, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but I do know you've been doing this for a long time and certain themes tend to arise. Where do you find, what are some of those kind of common pitfalls that you see families fall into in terms of family governance? Like, are there things that stick out more than others?
Yeah, I mean, it's the basics. Most of the time you think it's some, hedge fund situation, something that's complex that you don't really know, but you kind of heard of, and that's what makes you rich. That's not what makes you rich. People don't invest in hedge funds to get rich. They're already rich. They're already wealthy. To actually get to the point where you are creating something new in your family and getting beyond where you started, achieving that American dream, it's very basic, but it's not the same basic as our parents and grandparents. Our parents and grandparents knew the American dream was work very hard, nose to the grindstone, and then you'll be able to take your family to places you never knew. You can work really hard right now, and because of the way things have gotten incredibly expensive on a pro rata basis, on a basis that takes into account going further and faster than inflation, some of our biggest costs like housing, healthcare, college, all of these things, we can't just work hard. We have to work pretty smart in addition to working hard. But parallel to that, we have to be really serious about our finances. So very basically, have you paid off your credit card debt? Have you paid down your student loan? If you haven't, then there's a whole plan you need just for that. Have you saved up an emergency fund, money that just sits there, 5 figures of money that just sits and it's there in case you lose your job during a pandemic, in case you're furloughed, in case you have to wait for something, in case you have a health emergency that goes beyond your health insurance? That's basic, silly stuff, but it needs to be really tangible and real when you're looking at the challenges we face as a generation, as opposed to just sort of generically what we saw our parents or grandparents go through. So once you get those immediate layers done, that you've zeroed out the credit card debt with its expensive interest, you've saved 5 figures, whatever 5-figure amount you want, that's just cash, then you can guarantee your income is going to be there, right? Like you kind of know it's going to be there. You're very safe in your job. That's when you go above and beyond what you might be doing in your employer retirement account, and you should be doing something in the employer retirement account, at least getting the match, right? You've heard that before. But now you can go beyond and say, all right, what complexity can I do? Can I buy another house if that's my way of doing things? Can I set up a side business if that's how I want to do things? And as a last resort, can I actually get in the stock market? With excessive money beyond retirement, should that be where I put my money? And that's coming from a financial advisor. That's not the knee-jerk way that I think people should invest. Invest in yourself, in your education, and then think about whether you want to do something on the business end, because it's always been about income. Before we had people in the markets, it was about pensions, and before that, you worked till you died. And so it's always been about income. And even when you save up a few $1,000,000, your financial advisor is still going to say, this is the income you can take every year. So you don't need to jump to the markets. Think about what income you want to generate, and you'll be well on your way.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. It's great tips and great advice, Jason. And I can talk to you about this stuff all day long, but we're about out of time. So that being said, if somebody is listening to this, final question, 2-part question. If somebody's listening to this, number one, what's the right type of fit typically as a client and or a family unit to work with Jason Howell Company, number one? Number two, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect with you and your team?
Number one, if you're a dual income couple with a couple of kids and you are trying to do something special with your money, then you're the kind of client we like to work with. We have a flat fee option and we have a managing money option that gets you in the door with us and allows you to be able to go after what you're trying to do. If you're trying to become a patriarch or a matriarch, we will work to help get you there. It won't happen in a year, but it'll happen over time. Number two, as far as getting in touch with us, it's my name, JasonHowell.com, JasonHowell.com. If you wanted to go really ambitious and get my email address, it's the same, really. Just add Jason@JasonHowell.com.
Fantastic. Well, Jason, really appreciate you coming on the show today and really sharing more about what you're doing over at Jason Howell Company and what we all need to be thinking about when it comes to family governance. So thank you for that. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Jason, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adam.